Last week, I asked the two leading AI models in the world, Grok and ChatGPT, both to predict the upcoming Europa League games. Now the games have all been played and the results are in, so in this video we're going to see which one was most accurate and reliable. Just super quick before we jump into the results, I want to quickly let you know what's coming up on the channel this week. Already on the channel will be a Champions League results video for the Champions League games played last week. Sorry, that's a little bit late. I'd normally get that out earlier, so apologies for that. And then coming up this week, we've got predictions for the Premier League, the Bundesliga, Serie A, and La Liga. So plenty of content coming up in the future, and I really hope you'll join me for that and hit that subscribe button. But anyway, let's jump into it. Okay, so let's kick off with RB Salzburg versus Ferencvaros. And I'm just going to be looking off screen a little bit here because we've got a big long list of 18 fixtures to go through. So I want to try and make this as nice and concise as possible. But so I've got it up on another screen here. So let's go through that one. So Grok predicted a 2-1 Salzburg win. ChatGPT predicted a 3-1 Salzburg win. And that actually ended up as a 3-2 Ferencvaros win. So both models getting that one wrong. Then we have Braga versus Red Star Belgrade, and Grok predicted a 2-0 Braga win. ChatGPT predicted a 2-1 Braga win, and that actually ended up as a 2-0 Braga win. So Grok gets that one exactly right, and ChatGPT just the result. Next up is Fenerbahce versus Stuttgart. Grok predicted a 2-1 Stuttgart win. ChatGPT predicted a 2-0 Fenerbahce win, and that actually ended up as a 1-0 Fenerbahce win. So ChatGPT gets the right result there, and Grok gets it totally wrong. Moving on, we have Brann versus Rangers, and Grok predicted a 3-1 Rangers win. ChatGPT predicted a 2-1 Rangers win, and that ended up as a 3-0 Brann win. So both models are dead wrong. Up next is Go Ahead Eagles versus Aston Villa. So Grok predicted a 2-0 Aston Villa win, and so did ChatGPT, and that ended up as a 2-1 Go Ahead Eagles win. So both models getting that absolutely wrong, as I'm sure most people did. Then we have Genk versus Real Betis. Now, Grok predicted a 2-1 Genk win. ChatGPT predicted a 3-1 Betis win, and that ended up as a 0-0 draw. So both models again wrong. Up next, we've got FCSB versus Bologna. Grok predicted a 1-0 draw. ChatGPT predicted a 2-0 Bologna win, and that actually ended up as a 2-1 Bologna win. So both models one goal off the right score there, but that ends up being ChatGPT getting the right result and Grok getting that wrong. Moving on, we've got Lyon versus Basel, and Grok predicted a 3-1 Lyon win. ChatGPT predicted a 2-2 draw, and that actually ended up as a 2-0 Lyon win. So Grok gets the result there and ChatGPT gets it wrong. Then we have Celta Vigo versus Nice, and Grok predicted a 2-2 draw. ChatGPT predicted a 2-0 Celta Vigo win, and that ended up as a 2-1 Celta Vigo win. So ChatGPT gets that one right. Well, the result anyway. Next is Lille versus PAOK, and Grok predicted a 3-2 Lille win. ChatGPT predicted a 1-0 Lille win, and that ended up as a 4-3 PAOK win. So both models getting that absolutely wrong. Moving on, we have Malmo versus Dinamo Zagreb, and Grok predicted a 1-0 Dinamo Zagreb win. ChatGPT predicted a 1-0 draw, and that did end up as a 1-0 draw. So ChatGPT gets the score exactly right there, and Grok gets it wrong. Next up is Feyenoord versus Panathinaikos, and Grok predicted a 3-0 Feyenoord win. ChatGPT predicted a 1-0 draw, and that ended up as a 3-1 Feyenoord win. So Grok very close to getting the right score there, but ended up with just a result. Then we've got Young Boys versus Ludogorets, and Grok predicted a 1-0 draw. ChatGPT predicted a 2-2 draw, and that ended up as a 3-2 Young Boys win. So both models get that wrong. Then we've got Freiburg versus Utrecht, and Grok predicted a 3-0 Freiburg win. ChatGPT predicted a 2-1 Freiburg win, and that ended up as a 2-0 Freiburg win. So both models get the right result there and very close to getting the score, but not quite managing it. On to the next game, which was between Celtic and Sturm Graz. Both models here predicted a 2-1 Celtic win, and that did end up as a 2-1 Celtic win. So both models get the exact score for that one. Moving on, we've got Maccabi Tel Aviv versus Midtjylland, And Grok predicted a 2-1 Midtjylland win. ChatGPT predicted a 2-1 Tel Aviv win. And that ended up as a 3-0 Midtjylland win. So Grok gets the result there. And the penultimate game, which was between Nottingham Forest and Porto, Grok predicted a 2-1 Porto win. ChatGPT predicted a 3-1 Porto win, and that actually ended up as a 2-0 Nottingham Forest win. So both models got that wrong. And finally, the last game, which was between Roma and Victoria Plzen, Grok predicted a 2-0 Roma win, and so did ChatGPT predicted a 2-0 Roma win. Both were dead wrong, as that ended up as a 2-1 Victoria Plzen win. So there are all the results. Now let's have a look at the stats. All right, we'll start with Grok. So out of 18 games, Grok got 6 results right, which is not very good. That comes out as a 33.3% accuracy rate. And then out of those games, it got 2 scores right, which is an 11.1% accuracy rate. Not very good. On to ChatGPT. Okay, so on to ChatGPT then. Not much better than Grok, to be honest. Out of the 18 games, it got 7 results right, which is a 38.9% accuracy rate. And then the same as Grok, 2 scores, which is an 11.1 accuracy rate. So a pretty poor showing from both models this time round, and let's see how that affects the running totals. So here are the overall statistics. Let's see. So out of 83 total games we've predicted so far, Grok has predicted 44 results right, which is a 53% accuracy rate. And then 8 of those games, Grok has predicted the correct score for, which is a 9.6% accuracy rate. Not the best. On to ChatGPT. So out of the 83 games, 43 of those it predicted the result for, which is a 51.8% accuracy rate. And then the amount of scores it's got out of those 83 games is 9, which is a 10.8% accuracy rate. So the trend is that they're starting to not do so good. It was a really good start around sort of like the time the World Cup qualifiers ended. And then there was a couple of good videos, but recently, and there has been some hard results, to be honest, like especially the Champions League games just gone, 6-2s and 7-2s and 5-1s all over the place. So maybe when we're back to sort of league football with a bit more predictable results, they'll be a bit better, but let's hope so. And that is pretty much the video. I'd just like to very quickly say, if you did watch up to this point, thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. And while you're here, if I could just ask you to subscribe to the channel and like the video, I'd also be very grateful for that. But in any event, thank you so much for watching. Take it easy, and I'll see you in the next one.